So we'll see. We'll see. Very good. Should be done. That should be done pretty quickly. They want it every bit as much as everybody else wants it.
You're listening to NCN News.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Cumberland County, in partnership with the City of Fayetteville and community partners, has opened cooling centers through Monday, June 15th, in response to forecasted heat index values going from 100 to 107. Residents without access to air conditioning are encouraged to visit a cooling center during normal business hours to stay cool and safe. Remember to drink plenty of water, limit outdoor activity during peak heat hours, and check on older adults, young children, neighbors, and pets. Roll up your sleeve and help save lives. Cumberland County Emergency Services is hosting a blood drive on June 17th in partnership with the Cape Fear Valley Blood Donor Center. The blood donor bus will be open to the public. Stop by, donate blood, help make a difference for local patients in need. Dive deep, splash often. Join us for swim camp this summer. The link up on the city's Facebook page will take you to register for next week at Bates Pool. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Good Friday morning. We start your day with mostly clear skies and temperatures mild in the mid-70s. We'll see lots of sunshine by this afternoon, and highs will reach over 100 degrees with heat index values pushing closer to 110. Some showers and storms are possible by this afternoon. Some could be strong to severe, packing damaging wind gusts. After some lingering rain earlier tonight, we'll drop to the mid-70s by Saturday morning. Highs reach the mid to upper 90s on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
This edition of your local news and weather is brought to you by Fayetteville PWC.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
And good morning to you. 5 minutes after the hour on this Friday. I hope you're doing well. It was a little warmer this morning, and so I want you to be careful when you're out there with your pets and everything on the day. The heat advisory for today starts at 11 a.m. So we're talking about 3 hours from now. We're talking like, it's going to be serious heat. So just really, really, really be careful out there. The heat index, they say, will be around 105. So it's going to be a scorcher on today. Cover up and hydrate and do all that you can so that, you can take care of yourself. But anyway, so we've got a couple of things we're going to be talking about. We're going to be diving into a great success for our community. Going to be having on the air with us momentarily the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Kirk Deviere. On yesterday, they cut ribbon to the new medical school for our area here. And that's huge, guys. A lot. I mean, it's bigger than you think. But anyway, I'm going to let Commissioner Deviere talk more about that. And so, are you there yet, Commissioner Deviere? Let me see. Anyway, though, so Jay and DL, you guys there?
I am here. Good morning.
Good morning. Is DL there yet?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen.
Great, right. So look, as we move along, I did want to get on first, Commissioner Deviere, to talk about this new medical school that we have that's in conjunction with Cape Fear Valley and Methodist University. Think about that, guys. You know, we're talking about somebody going off now to medical school. They don't have to go somewhere else. You know, we can do it right here. And
that's right.
It's powerful.
How many medical schools are there?
I know at one time when my daughter, this has been some time back, when she was going to vet school, because there's only at that time 28 of those, but there was 159 medical schools countrywide about a decade ago. I don't know how many are now, but it's quite a few.
In North Carolina, though, I know we have ECU and Duke and Wake Forest.
Chapel Hill, right?
Is that it?
You got Chapel Hill.
Yeah, that's probably it. And now Cape Fear. That is huge.
Right. So Methodist University, you know, because they've always had a good PA program, physician's assistants.
Right.
And man, this is a huge step for this community here. I mean, I'm just elated and excited about this. Just a fantastic thing, you know. I had the opportunity to be out there to see them cut the ribbon on that, and just, you know, matter of fact, 70 members of the staff that would be working this thing, they were there too. So you got all these doctors. You know, the hope is that when the doctors finish the school, what they would do is they will continue on and they will, you know, remain here.
Stay in Fayetteville.
Right. I heard a chime there. That may have been Commissioner Deviere. Is that you, Commissioner Deviere?
I'm here, Troy.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, well, look, I know you're a busy man. We'll let you do the talking now. We have DL and also Jay on the line, and certainly for all of our viewers and listeners, talk to a little bit about what happened on yesterday. I know you were not involved in the front end of this on this end. You may have been in the General Assembly, but talk about this opportunity that is facing us and why we should be excited about what happened on yesterday.
Yeah, thanks, Troy and DL and Jay. It's always good to be on with you both. You know, yesterday was just a great day for our community. We cut the ribbon on the Methodist University Cape Fear Valley Medical School, and that's transformational for our community. So let me just put it in clear perspectives. We are going to train doctors right here in Cumberland County. Kids that go to school here don't have to leave here to go to medical school, but more important, we're going to be recruiting people from all across this nation. There's only 150 medical schools in the United States, and we're that 150th. And the impact is what we see is when people, we saw it with the residency program that we have, when people train here, they stay within this region or within this footprint. We know we have a doctor desert here. This is a perfect example of how a community came together with Cape Fear Valley, spearheaded by Mike Nagowski, working with Methodist University and the team there to create this medical school. You know, I'll tell you that the county has been directly involved in it. You know, early on, we're part of the board of trustees at the hospital. And so we're actively, but over the last 2 years, even in the last budget cycle, we committed $10 million to this. And people will say, why did you commit $10 million to this medical school? Two real big reasons. One, the economic impact that we're going to see on this, over $72 million of economic impact just from the ancillary impact of this. But more importantly, we're creating our own workforce, and we're creating deeper and wider access to healthcare. And those are critical things, are part of our strategic plan. This was the right investment, and we're extremely excited about what's happening now under the leadership of Dan Weatherly, who's a new CEO, and more importantly under Hershey Bell, who is the dean of the medical school. But just an amazing building. You know, community members that, private fundraising came to this, public came to it. You also have foundations that participated, but just a great community day to celebrate.
Right. Excellent.
Commissioner, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir, Jay.
It's Jay here. Yeah, listen. So, is there a specific specialty that will be focused on in the hospital as far as training? And how many medical students will be entering in the first class?
So we'll have, and you're going to get me off on the quotes here. We're going to start out with between 40 and 50. That's going to escalate up to over 100, and then year over year it will grow. The specialties are, this is your baseline medical school, so they'll go through that and then they'll choose their specialty. The nice thing about Cape Fear Valley is you're going to have that exposure to all the different specialties that we have at Cape Fear Valley and growing. Everything from, all different specialties, I should say.
Great. And one last question. Will it be considered, maybe I'm a little off here, will it be considered a teaching hospital like some other hospitals in the area?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jay, and it's one of the transformational things that the hospital system is going through now. So we're going more, and we've been a teaching hospital because of the residency program, but when you have a medical school, you're really making a transition as a institution to more of a training institution and an educational institution than we are currently. So that's part of this transformation that's happening with our with Cape Fear Valley Health System.
Great, thanks. Very exciting.
DL, comments, questions?
Quick question. So it falls under the UNC system, so the color scheme going to be Carolina blue, right?
Oh, it's not part of UNC system.
No, it's not. Right.
University. It is green and gold over there, so we're not part of the UNC system.
Yeah.
All right, Troy, you tell me. You know what threw me off? Troy, when you took the picture with the former UNC basketball player. That's what threw me off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Franklin Clark is a great. He's historic at UNC Chapel Hill and basketball team, but he's also just an incredible community leader. And he and Ralph Huff actually led the private, fundraising effort to get that community support that we needed to take us over the hump. Yeah,
that's what it was.
Exciting news. It puts us on the map, right?
Yeah, man, that's huge.
Think about this. One of 150. There's only 150 medical schools in the United States, and one is right here in Cumberland County.
Right, and one of the things that you have heard over the years is even with high school kids after graduating, how do we keep folks in Cumberland County? This is a great way to keep specialized medical doctors in our county to stay and teach. So it's really just such a win-win. And congratulations to the Board of Commissioners supporting such a huge effort. It's important stuff.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, DL.
It really is. Well, look, thank you, Commissioner Deviere. And again, I think you had some very powerful words yesterday. Just everybody talking about this. This was huge. What we've got to do now is to continue to do more things like this. And, let me tell you, for those youngsters that want to become doctors, look, what your parents need to do is you need to drive over there and drive around that building and go in and take a tour and say, hey, look, you want to be a doctor, you go through undergrad, you try to get back here, and get in this medical school because I know, when youngsters have things in front of them, the physical stuff that they can see and touch, it's just a whole new game, It's okay to focus on sports, but we can do a whole lot more than that. And now we have something that is tangible and visible in our community, like Commissioner Deviere states, it's only 150 medical schools in this country, and now we have one in Cumberland County. So that's enough, and ought to be enough for us to be proud about. Certainly through Methodist University, which is a private institution, but their collaboration with the Cumberland County, with Cumberland County and Cape Fear Valley Health, this is tremendous. So we will be remembering what happened on yesterday for a long time. And as one of the speakers said, they may forget what was said, but we'll never forget what was done.
That's right.
But look, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And we look forward to you,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
On Tuesday. When you get back, you can talk more about that. But anyway, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule this morning. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Take
Thanks
care.
for all you do.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, guys, I did want him to talk about that because I thought that was, that was huge for our community and something we want to talk about. Sorry, dear, for confusing you there. Dr. Franklin Clark was the first big man that Dean Smith, then the coach of Carolina, that he recruited, and he, like I said, he went to Fayetteville High, then, which is later was called Terry Sanford now, but he recruited him. He was a 7-footer, and of course you saw me standing. You saw me standing beside him. I'm 6'2". Normally, when I'm in a room, I'm one of the more taller people in the room. I don't go in rooms and a lot of people's not taller than 6. Because I think the average height of a male in this country is something like 5'9". But anyway, this guy is like a giant. But I've known of this guy since I was like in the 8th, 9th grade, and it was exciting getting the chance to talk to him yesterday. And he was kidding me. He said, well, I said, I remember you, man. You play. He said, well, we don't have to check you for your memory then. You're good. If you can remember that.
What year did he play? What year was it again?
69 through 72. In those days, freshmen could not play. So, they had a JV team. And but he played with Bob McAdoo and Charlie Scott and a bunch of other Hall of Famers. But he's
got to be about 75 then, is my guess.
Yeah, right. So now, but what he chose to do, he didn't choose to go to the NFL. He went to medical school, and there was some kind of surgeon. I think somebody said it was a thoracic surgeon. Another doctor was telling me that he practiced a different kind of medicine. I don't know exactly, but all I know is that he was doctor. His name is Franklin, but they call him Rusty Clark. His name is Franklin Clark, but he's Rusty Clark. But he's a major developer in this community here, particularly in that area around what's going on at Cape Fear Valley. And certainly, like you said, he was one of the main people that caused this to happen. So we can applaud him and all others.
News.
Right. This is huge. This is really huge for our community. But so, man, look, guys.
Puts us on the map.
Yeah, I posted that. I got 7,000 views on that thing since yesterday. And do you know Phil Ford? Do you remember him?
Of course.
Well, so
I was having dinner before a basketball game last year. He was sitting at the table right next to us with 3 other folks. So I've met him, and one of the greats.
Yeah, it is. So we're Facebook friends, and he commented on my post as well, talking about this guy. Man, it was really exciting. I was excited for the medical school, but again, the chance to chat with Dr. Clark was certainly a highlight for me. But anyway, speaking of sports, let's go on and get something out the way right quickly. Let's talk about the Carolina Hurricanes. So it's 3-2 now, correct?
It's 3-2. They won at home last night. They're one win away from the second Stanley Cup in their history. I think they won the last one in 2006. So there's a lot of excitement. When you win a championship in one of the major sports, it's a big deal. It's not like, the NFL or the NBA or baseball, but it's up there. And I think it's going to be very exciting for our community. So I'm crossing our fingers that we're going to do it.
Sure. Well, look, and also The Carolina Tar Heels did make it to the World Series, and I think they're playing Ole Miss today at 7 p.m. tonight. So that's going to be interesting. Well, look, fast forward. Look, we got a couple things on our calendar there that, we want to get past. Deal, I'll let you lead off. Let's talk about this case that happened down in Texas, which has gained national attention.
Yes, the Carmelo Anthony trial, where he was found guilty of first-degree murder of the Metcalf kid, and I apologize for not having Metcalf's first name. I definitely apologize for that. I know they were two twins. But most of the focus has been on the trial, the verdict. In Texas, unlike other states, the jury gets to decide the sentence, which is unusual for me to have found out. And they gave him 35 years. I don't understand the first-degree murder. First-degree murder is premeditated, meaning I'm planning to go somewhere and harm somebody, whereas second-degree murder is spontaneous. So that kind of threw me. Each state has different laws. We call them the elements of a crime. A, B, C, D, A through B have to be met to meet this criteria. So I assume it was met in Texas. A lot of folks are talking about the jury was made up of non-blacks. In Texas, you're entitled to a jury of your peers, not a jury of colors. That's Supreme Court. So basically, Troy and Jay, what the law says is that if you're a black defendant, you are not entitled to have black jurors. However, they cannot be excluded because of their race. So that's a big difference. A lot of folks don't understand that. At the time of the incident, it started because of a shove. Now, depending on who you listen to, what platform, it's a bunch of lies out there. Yep. And he was attacked. It was 3-on-1. Then some folks say it's 1-on-1. And then some folks say he only had a tool that they used for the tracks, the spikes for the track people wear and whatnot. But I don't care how big a tool is. It can be 1 or 2 inch. A pencil can be a deadly weapon if used right. Here's what I would love to say. This is just me talking. Yes, 2 lives are lost, but 1 person's in jail. The only thing that was controllable, you should not put your hands on anybody. The young man that is unalive today definitely should have went and got his track coach. However, if the accounts that it was only a shove, you can't come back with deadly force. You got to put those fists up and go toe to toe. That's where Carmelo messed up at. And I know the parents are disappointed. His mom's comment on CBS Morning News kind of threw me off because she basically said all the witnesses were untruthful. So basically what she's saying, she must have had her and her attorney, because her attorney, defense attorney's not saying too much. They must have the original video or written statements from the witnesses, and they must be different from what was presented at the trial, because that's the claim she's asserting. So I attribute some of that to a mother's pain and upset about her child being locked down for 35 years. But the defense attorney, folks are upset that the attorneys, the prosecutor, the defense attorney, and judges all knew each other. That happens a lot, folks. Now, when there are actually conflicts of interest, like if they've worked in firms together, they definitely cannot be opposite in any way on certain trials. Now, I take that back. We don't know what Texas law is as it applies. But if there are grounds for appeals with this situation, they're going to exhaust all means, because some folks have made this political. They made this about race. I will say this before I hand it to you guys. Young folks, you have to control what you can control. You're not in this situation to, of course, we understand his hands were put on Carmelo Anthony. However, folks, I don't care who you are, you cannot respond with a weapon of any kind. I don't care if it's a 2-inch knife versus a 6-inch blade. You just can't, because look at the consequences. Because Carmelo while he didn't have to, he didn't get on the witness stand and tell his side of the story to let the jury know this is why I felt my life was in danger. He was not required to do that under our laws. but he would be in this situation had think about it. We know now, had he had to do a do-over, he wouldn't have did what he did, put himself in that situation. Thanks a lot.
Right.
Sure, but hold on one minute. Look, can you back up now? Give us the backdrop for people that don't understand. What happened? How did they get to the confrontation?
Well, it was a track meet in Texas.
Okay, it's a track meet in
April,
Texas, right? A track meet, right.
And he was not under his team's tent. I don't even think his team did have a tent. It's still fuzzy of whether or not he was participating or not. It was a break in action because of the rain. They had asked him to move. He was invited by a player on the opposing team, but other students, including the Metcalf twins, had asked Carmelo to leave, and Carmelo refused to leave. And one of them put his hands on Carmelo. But depending on who you ask, it was 3-on-1. So this was over a tent. Again, Troy, he could remove himself from that situation to where he wouldn't have had his hands put on him had he moved when they asked him to, but he decided not to.
Sure.
Our young folks on both sides don't use their brain all the time, because that's when a coach should have been brought into that situation.
So the accusation, though, is that the young white kid shoved the black kid, correct?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the accusation. And then the young black kid responded by stabbing him with a small knife, right?
Correct.
And then the kid died. So what now?
But I think after the first shove, Carmelo Anthony said something like, you do it again. There was some of those words, and then he got the stabbing. It was after that. So there was a little taunting there, I think, from Carmelo, is what I read in the report. But either way, I think you made a very good point, DL. When did we stop just punching each other and getting into a fist fight? When did it start turning to guns and knives? I don't think that young people think about the potential outcome when you do something like that. It's very interesting, though, after the verdict, and I think you said it's been very political and on racial lines. I've watched the reports. The black community in Texas, at least, feels as though he did not get a fair trial. I did read, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that the defense attorney put up 3 black jurors that were all pushed away by the prosecution. They did not allow those 3 black jurors in. I can't tell you why, but they at least attempted to get in 3 black jurors in the pool. Didn't happen. So it's unfortunate, though, at the end of the day, that this has turned into such a political and racial incident. And I'm not really sure, none of us are really going to be sure what happened. Either way, 2 families have lost a loved one. Carmelo Anthony and the other family, I just forgot his name. One final thing, it doesn't have much to do with it, but in a sense it does. And I listened to a 5-minute interview with the father of the young white twin that was murdered. And he did an interview, it was a 5-minute interview, and it was so filled with racial hate. You wonder how those kids were brought up. And it may have nothing to do with it, but oftentimes if your family is brought up with that type of hatred, it may have led to something else. I'm just bringing it up because I did see that 5-minute interview yesterday. I won't say anything more. I'll leave it to you, Troy.
Sure. Well, look, we're going to go to a break, but let me say this as a matter of law, DL. Also, first-degree murder is not just premeditation. In most places, if it's in commission of a felony, if you're committing a felony as well, then that will be assigned as a first-degree murder as well. But anyway, though. So we'll be back. We can finish that up, and we got some other issues we want to talk about inside of the WIDU Morning Show. Jay and DL, and I'm anchoring here, Troy. We'll be back for more following this.
At Fayetteville State University, you will do something you thought you could never do. And never say never again. With NC Promise $500 per semester tuition, dare to see where you can go. Check out all your options, including our new cybersecurity program. Because tomorrow just can't wait. Fayetteville State University. Anything really can happen. Are you in?
Pastor Teresa McAllister and Rafa Ministries Family Center welcome you to our 2026 Family Summit this summer, Saturday, August 8th at Cliffdale Recreation Center from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with lunch served. The theme this year, Choose Life. And we're offering our fam talks to support you in every area of life. Leaders, vendors, community professionals will be presenting from topics such as mental health, physical, financial, spiritual, and relational health. In addition, our Summer Camp Kids Choir will be featured as our performing artists. It's going to be an amazing event for the whole family. Text 843-209-6848 for more information. Or if you'd like to attend, or even to consider becoming a sponsor. Again, text 843-209-6848 for more information. Hope to see you there.
Good Friday morning. We start your day with mostly clear skies and temperatures mild in the mid-70s. We'll see lots of sunshine by this afternoon, and highs will reach over 100 degrees with heat index values pushing closer to 110. Some showers and storms are possible by this afternoon. Some could be strong to severe, packing damaging wind gusts. After some lingering rain earlier tonight, we'll drop to the mid-70s by Saturday morning. Highs reach the mid to upper 90s on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
High heat is the main story for the rest of the week. Temperatures will be near record levels across much of the state today, many locations exceeding 100 degrees. Meanwhile, dangerous weather ripped through the Midwest yesterday with storm and wind damage. Carolina Hurricanes beat the Vegas Golden Knights 4-2 last night at Lenovo Center in Raleigh. They've now moved within a win of the Stanley Cup. President Trump says he has a tentative deal to end the war with Iran, pending finalization of documents. Nearly 1,000 days have passed since the General Assembly passed its last budget. Democratic leaders expressing frustration over delays. Republicans say negotiations are moving forward. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins says they've moved quickly to protect the U.S. from the screwworm outbreak. Methodist University in Cape Fear Valley yesterday celebrated the opening of a new medical school in Fayetteville. Tony Rixby, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. Cumberland County, in partnership with the City of Fayetteville and community partners, has opened cooling centers through Monday, June 15th, in response to forecasted heat index values going from 100 to 107. Residents without access to air conditioning are encouraged to visit a cooling center during normal business hours to stay cool and safe. Remember to drink plenty of water, limit outdoor activity during peak heat hours, and check on older adults, young children, neighbors, and pets. Roll up your sleeve and help save lives. Cumberland County Emergency Services is hosting a blood drive on June 17th in partnership with the Cape Fear Valley Blood Donor Center. The blood donor bus will be open to the public. Stop by, donate blood, help make a difference for local patients in need. Dive deep, splash often. Join us for swim camp this summer. The link up on the city's Facebook page will take you to register for next week at Bates Pool. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Angelic Flores Creations, 442 Hillsborough Street, Fayetteville, is family owned and operated, proudly serving the Fayetteville area. Whatever the occasion, Angelic Flores Creations can create a floral arrangement or gift for any occasion or holiday. Angelic Flores Creations has prompt, friendly, and caring service. If you want to say you care, you can always say it with flowers from Angelic Flores Creations, 442 Hillsborough Street, Fayetteville. Call 910-485-2205.
Hi, I'm Mitch Colvin, president of Colvin Funeral Home and Crematorium. For over 50 years, our family has provided professional services with dignity, compassion, and respect with families during a time of need. We realize funeral services are as unique as those we're honoring. We offer a variety of affordable, quality services tailored to meet each family's needs, specializing in burial and cremation services. Proudly servicing Cumberland, Robinson, Hope, Harnett, Bladen, and surrounding counties from 2 locations, 2010 Murchison Road, Fayetteville, 1904 Elizabethtown Road, Lumberton. For more information, visit our website, www.hmcolvin.com.
Hi, this is DJ Paul G.
And this is DJ 06. And we are the Gospel Blend Brothers. Join us every Friday
from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for
the Drive Time Gospel Mix.
As we get you to and from your destination.
Vibing on good gospel music.
In the mix.
On WIDU 99.7 FM and 1600 AM. The Drive Time Gospel Mix.
And we're back now. Got DL and Jay there. Wrapping up what happened in Texas, I would agree that what happens now is that everything becomes so racially polarized. But there isn't a requirement in any state that your so-called peer be someone that identifies of the same racial identity that you identify with, we right. Had, unfortunately, again, look, if you're waiting on just that to say whether or not someone can, be fair with regard to a jury, they have to be of the same race of you, that's simply just not gonna work, bro. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen like that.
One thing, Troy, I'd love to have known. Most district attorneys are going to make an offer. They tell you this offer's on the table, but once we lock in the trial date, you're not going to get this again. I would have loved to know what they offered him.
Well, what you guys didn't mention was what he got. He got 35 years. That's a long time. I don't know. It's not Fed time, so it's not day for day. I don't know when someone receiving a 35-year sentence would be eligible for parole. But the only thing about somebody pleading to a case, and sometimes people don't think about this, is that there's one question when you plead guilty to something that you have to answer, and that is they ask you, are you in fact guilty? You have to say yes. If you don't say yes, the judge is going to say, well, you're going to trial. You see what I'm saying?
I got it.
You have to say, I am in fact guilty, because the judge is going to ask you that. Are you in fact guilty? And if you refuse to say that, then you will be...
Then you go to trial.
Right.
Interesting. We learn a lot on this show, Troy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, again, this legal stuff... But, again, look, you can do enough to protect yourself, but I'll be honest with you, someone shoving you and you responding with deadly force.
With a knife.
On the surface, it appears to be too much.
I agree. Totally agree.
On the surface.
Totally agree.
Deal?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree? On the surface, it appears to be too much.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'll say this: if every situation resulted in a knife or even any type of weapon, you'd have a lot of trials and a lot of serious injuries.
Right.
Sad situation all the way around.
Right.
It is.
So, to the next topic, guys. We have. And so now, look, it's not funny, but okay, look. For the last 10 years, the Democratic Party has accused anyone that supports President Trump of being Nazis.
I know where you're going.
Okay? That's what they've done over 10 years. They've accused the president of being Nazi. They call him Hitler and everything else. Okay, I got that. And in America, you can do that because, you got freedom of speech. However, now Is there evidence that anyone, just because they supported Donald Trump, that they are a Nazi? You know, I'd say no, but then again, you know, people come up with their own ideas. So if the Democratic Party really is that against racism and everything else, now let's go to the state of Maine. Okay.
Yes, I would love to talk about it.
So what happens in the state of Maine, Jay? In the state of Maine, their Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate had a racially charged tattoo on his chest for 18 years.
Yeah, he said he didn't know it was a Nazi tattoo until his.
Until what? Wait. Okay, wait a minute. It's not getting. I'm not getting a good feedback from you now. Dear, what about you? Are you there?
Can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Right.
Okay, so the candidate's name is Graham Plattner.
Right.
First time he's run for office. He ran against the current governor, Mills, and he was getting a lot of momentum, and the polls were showing that he was going to destroy her in the primary. She decided to drop out. Once she drops out, all of a sudden these bombshells start to drop. The Nazi tattoo, or the tattoo that resembled a Nazi symbol. Then there were women that he was apparently had bad relationships with. One, he might have twisted her arm. A lot of baggage.
Lots of them.
A lot of really bad baggage.
Right.
Now he's running against Susan Collins, who is a 5-time winner of U.S. Senate spot from Maine, has a very good reputation. And actually, I just have to say this: I have met Susan Collins twice. She is the biggest supporter and of Alzheimer's legislation in the U.S. Senate. So I'm a big fan of Susan Collins. But on another note,
she voted to impeach Trump, right?
Democrats. What now?
She voted to impeach Trump.
She did. She also has voted 90% of the time with Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, well, I'm saying, but
right. So let me finish here. So at the end of the day, this is where the Democrats are. You have a candidate that is totally flawed and has been accused of things that, any other candidate would have been out by now. And then you have Susan Collins. You have a situation where if the Democrats can gain this, win the Senate seat in Maine, there is a good possibility, based on the other races, they could control the Senate and potentially the House. So you have Democrats saying, you know what? You have one side of the Democrats saying, hey, we're willing to sell our souls to the devil and go with this guy just to unseat Collins. And then you have other Democrats saying, well, wait a second. These are the same things we've been saying about Trump and other candidates like Paxton in Texas, and now we're going to support him? No way, I'm not going to do it. That's where you really are right now. You support him and hopefully beat Collins, you get the Senate. And I think some people are so far into this, it's all about winning the Senate and going against Trump. They're going to support this really bad actor. I'll leave it at that, and you guys can comment. Not a good situation for Democrats, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a 30 seconds on this subject. Like you said, the Democrats, I just find it astounding that some of them are getting behind this guy when, in fact, Susan Collins has supported Democrats on big issues. Obamacare, she supported the Democrats on that. She did vote to impeach President Trump. And she scrutinizes all Supreme Court candidates that come across her while she was in the Senate. They have better candidates. This guy, he blames it like I think all the veterans like myself are serving abroad, but he blames some of his sexual comments that he made towards other women on PTSD. He didn't know he had the Nazi-like tattoo. So he's no different than the other ones. Like I said, I'm just surprised the Democrats are not standing on business, as the young folks say.
Yeah, they're not standing on business, and it's an embarrassment to the party that talks about doing the right thing and raising the bar, and they're not doing it with this guy Graham Plattner. They're all about just trying to win the Senate at any cost, and that's not a good look for the party. So that's where I stand on it. Do the right thing, folks. Do the right thing. Susan Collins is not such a bad candidate. You picked a bad candidate and a flawed candidate, and now this is what you got, and this is the best you can do? Give me a break.
Well, unfortunately, none of us have a vote in Maine. But anyway.
No, we don't.
But still, I think it's indicative of what happens across political lands now. People say something regarding the character or integrity. They use all these other words. But at the end of the day, it's just about beating the other guy.
That's right. It's about winning.
I tease people about sports because I see that, sports to me is not fair because, referees make calls I don't like and stuff like that. And, that's just, you see that, but it's almost like politically, people are the same way. It's like, whatever we can do to win, we're going to win. We don't care if our candidate mirrors identical to the person we're fighting against. So long as they say that they're one of us, then it doesn't matter. And I remember one time back, I leave names out of it, but this has been, I guess maybe 30 years ago, whatever. So this guy, what happens is, for the longest time here in Cumberland County, he was running as a Republican. He could never win. And so he switched parties and became a Democrat. And so he won. And now I was doing radio at that time, so I had this guy behind the microphone, guys. I said, well, what did you do, to change, parties? I said, did you switch your philosophy? And he said, no. And then he's talking to a WID audience. He said, no, I ain't changing anything. I said, well, why'd you do it? He said, for the black vote. And I was just shocked that he would say that with an open mic, but he did. And he was telling the truth. He said, I didn't change my philosophy concerning anything. I just did it. He said, I just switched parties to get the black vote. And then, there's this thing of Nancy Pelosi. She's holding up like a bottle of water. She said, look, I could call this right here a Democrat, and that's all I need. It's just to say that, and I'm going to get it elected just because. And she was holding up a bottle of water. And unfortunately, that's true on both sides with some folk. You know what I mean? They're so
it is true.
They're so politically ingrained in something that as long as you say you're a Republican, as long as you say you're a Democrat or whatever, hey, look, you're going to get my vote. I mean, you could be a bad actor or whatever, or you could be identical to the person that I claim that I don't like. But as long as you call yourself this. And so then I asked this other guy, this was at election night, right? I said, well, this guy, but he told me he didn't change anything. And this guy said, well, I don't care. As long as he says he's a Democrat, I don't care if he doesn't change his behavior or anything. As long as he comes home and says that he's a Democrat, I'm good. I never forget it, man. I mean, I was like, wow.
Yeah, and that's what's happening in Maine, and that's what's happening with Graham Plattner. It's anything to beat Susan Collins instead of raising the bar and trying to get a good candidate. And it's made politics pretty ugly, and it's why a lot of people don't want to get involved in politics, and it's why a lot of people don't go to the polls because they get tired of this stuff. So anyway, interesting topic though, Troy.
It's true. So look, guys, let's move on to last topic. Police officer DL, a pretty vicious viral video of a white cop beating up this black female. And the
90 pounds.
Right. And the other cop has to drag him off of her. You know, I mean, his colleague has to pull him off of her. I mean, he was just like, it was like he just lost it. Of course, he lost his job almost immediately, and he should have. But
oh yeah,
what about that deal? I mean, you know, you've been a sergeant out there. You know, I've been in law enforcement, but I never had a real supervisory position. I had some authority over some people when I was upstairs in narcotics, but you know, I didn't have anything on my sleeve. What do you do with that kind of stuff?
Well, let's get to why Ben Crump is revisiting this issue. He wants the charges upgraded. So the officer was charged with a misdemeanor. Well, there are charges in North Carolina if you physically assault the disabled, somebody that's incapacitated in the hospital, or, you know, it's various types of injuries, what categories that they can fall in. I don't know what category that Ben Crump wants these charges upgraded to, because more than likely, if he does go to a felony, if he's a first-time offender, more than likely it'll be knocked down to a misdemeanor. And if he may even get a prayer for judgment. Who knows? It just depends on a number of factors. But as far as the incident itself, Troy, goes, that's why I say these body-worn cameras, we need to see I want to see the body-worn camera. Right now, we only see doorbell cameras. I say this, law enforcement agencies should be auditing officers' body cams at least once or twice a month, and it shouldn't be the patrol supervisor, because the patrol supervisor, like when I retired, you're so busy during the shift, you have to monitor the radio, you're reviewing reports, you're dealing with the public, and they want you to sit down and audit this video, and a police sergeant can say, let me pull this 3-minute traffic stop where he gives a seatbelt. Oh, he was good. No problems with that issue. You need to just hire folks to audit these guys, because I'm pretty sure he's probably exhibited these bad behaviors before. And, you know, Wilmington did a good job about 3 years ago where Wilmington caught 2 officers using racial epithets towards black folks. This was just through an audit, and they fired them. So that's one way we can do this. But the other way, it's got to be proper training. She was resisting. I don't care how big you are. It looks bad when you have to go hands-on. And a lot of training officers will tell you, we don't want you going hands-on. For some reason, we don't want them getting a hold of your gun. You use your tasers or your bases.
That's what I was just going to say.
And then you drop them. Small as she was, she's going to more than likely, and plus she had on shorts. It's hard during the winter when they're all clothing up in layers. Tasers don't tend to work. But in this situation, he was overboard.
Yeah, can I ask you a question from a layman's term, someone that knows nothing about or very little about the criminal justice system? When I saw, I think it was 10 punches he gave to her.
That's my point.
90-some pounds. It was 10 solid punches. Why would that not be a felony?
Exactly.
How is that a misdemeanor? I totally don't get that. That was a brutal beatdown. I mean, a brutal beatdown of that woman. Now, granted, they say she might have been on drugs, she might have been mentally ill. I don't care, but she's 90 pounds, and he just not 10 shots at her. Why is that not a felony?
Well, I don't know the injury. I don't know her complete injury report. I know some of her people have released it. You got to ask the district attorney. They get to make these charges, but they get elected every 4 or 6 years.
But in your opinion, DL, you've seen a lot of stuff. What would be the reason or the potential reason it would not be a felony?
And the seriousness of her, I would I can say the seriousness of her injuries, and it can always be upgraded. Now, if medical records show that her injuries are more severe than what was previously reported, the DA can always upgrade them.
Yeah, but see,
that was brutal.
In North Carolina, the DA does not have to be consulted for a charge. In some states, the DA has to be consulted for a felony charge, but not in North Carolina. Matter of fact, our DA, Billy West, we were discussing that in the studio here. So the police themselves, they could have charged him like that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let's tell the truth. if there had been a civilian, they would have overcharged them, DL. You and I both know that. The person would have been charged with a felony. Am I right about it?
Yeah, on a law enforcement officer. However, Troy, the DA still has to present that case. Cops can do all the charging they want to.
I understand.
But if the DA, because you and Alan worked on some cases to where the DA just said we ain't prosecuting these. But I get what you're saying in the big scheme of things. Yeah, law enforcement can go before a judge and submit a warrant and charge a person, and then that law enforcement agency has to prepare a felony folder for the district attorney's office. And once the district attorney office gets it, they're going to look at it.
Sure.
And what they more than likely do will have that case come. The officer will come before a grand jury.
Well, that's true, but I'm saying, but you also know that they overcharge people. So I'm saying is that if there had been a civilian, he would automatically, he or she, if another person had been doing what that officer was doing, I guarantee you they'd have been charged feloniously for that act.
Oh, yeah, go to the Carly C's years ago. This had to be in the mid-'90s, where an ADA's mother or father somebody was stealing something out of the Carly C's IGA on Bragg Boulevard, and it was an assistant ADA's mother or father that was killed in the commission of that incident, and that person was overcharged. When it went to court, the charges were extremely reduced, but they should have never been charged in the first place with that type of the charge that they were originally charged. So it does happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I see that all the time. I mean, like, look, they overcharge people. So when they get to court and you plead, you're actually pleading to what they wanted to charge you with, and what you should have been charged with in the beginning. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Well, I learn a lot on this show. I really do. I learn a lot. I don't know. This is good information for me and the audience. Did not know some of that stuff. So thank you for educating me.
Yeah,
well, and here's what needs to happen. Back in when 21 when Biden took office, folks are so fascinated with
please don't bring him up.
No, Troy.
Okay.
I mean, not Troy, but Jay. This is important. Folks are so enamored with performative gestures by his administration. You were never going to get a national George Floyd Act. That was not going to happen. But if calmer heads would have went to the table, they could have went to different states and say, hey, look, I'm going to tell you, I don't care what color you are, nobody likes bad cops. What should have been put on the table is that we want to pull certifications of bad cops. It don't even have to be it doesn't have to be through the lens of a white cop killing a black person. It could be through the lens of cops that are obnoxious, they're out of control before they get there. Just like this. When I want to file a complaint on an attorney, I contact the bar. When I want to file a complaint on the nurse, I contact the association in Raleigh. They pull these cases and they will determine, let's pull this certification. There should have been more effort among civil rights groups on doing things like that instead of depending on the federal government to get things done, because the states are going to retain most of their independence when it comes to things. I don't think enough action from civil rights groups were done as it applies to trying to police up bad police officers. Because you could have got a lot of other people that don't look like me and Troy on board with it, had it been done the right way and presented the right way. But you were not going to put George Floyd's name on it. They wasn't going to have that. But if your overall goal was to make it better for folks down the road, you would have, cooler heads would have came to the table. You wasn't going to have it one way. Anything was better than nothing, because now we really don't have nothing when it comes to getting rid of bad police officers.
Right. Well, look here, guys. Our time is up. Appreciate y'all so much. Jay, DL, you guys have a great weekend. Stay cool, man. Whatever you're doing out there, don't get too hot, and that's for everybody. Look, we have coming up at 10 o'clock Heartbeat, and also we have coming up at 11 o'clock MP3. And Tammy, what do we have coming up at 9? Brian Hunter's coming up next now. So look, stay right there. We'll be a great show's coming up now. So look, stay tuned on WIDU 1600 AM. Thank you so much.